We're at the North American International Auto Show, checking out the all-new Subaru Ascent. This is Subaru's 3-row SUV. As you can see here, we have a spec sheet. Actually, this is just a feature booklet, but if we turn to the back, we have a whole bunch of features that we can look into. This is all new for Subaru, never before released, and Subaru did have something similar. The B9 Tribeca was their 3-row SUV, but I'm guessing this is the replacement for that. As you can see, this is the model lineup. 260 horsepower direct injection Subaru Boxer engine, all-wheel drive, 18-inch wheels, as well as 5,000 pound towing capacity in the Ascent Premium. So that's the basic. That is the Ascent Premium. That is the Limited. And that is the Touring. It actually looks really nice, and you can really get an idea of the Subaru design language that we've seen in a lot of newer Subaru models. As you can see, you have Subaru's LEDs that run along the top edges and the bottom edges of the headlight. You have the indicators in there, projection beam headlamps. Over here you have 18-inch wheels. Actually, sorry, 18 inches on the base. These are 20-inch wheels. A nice big black grille. Chrome along the mirrors. And as we step inside, it's actually very modern. I mean, this whole black thing kind of reminds me of the way Infiniti does things. Of course, the Infiniti usually has a double screen configuration, whereas this has one screen, but it really looks premium. You have another screen actually down there. I'm not exactly sure if that's a color screen or if it's just an analog screen with vehicle information. But let's go over some of the features that we have here. We have an X mode here, which might be kind of like for off-roading, etc. AVH, an audio port, 2 USB ports. The cup holders are fairly decent size. Unfortunately, I can't turn the screen on, but you'll be able to get a video later on how that looks, how the information cluster looks. These are the settings for the climate. You have heated and ventilated seats on this model. Traditional gauges with a color MID multi-information display in the center. Adaptive cruise control. Lane keep assist. You have a memory setting for the trunk to adjust the height of the trunk. You have a nice array of materials that they use here. You have a nice wood finish here, you have leather here, and you have some kind of like perforated leather here, as well as brown leather for the door handles. Then again, we're probably on the high end of the Ascent spectrum in terms of trim. You have the sunroof buttons here, and that's how large the sunroof is. It's actually fairly large. This one actually has a lot of space. This should give you an idea of the seating configuration. As you can see, you can fold down the quad seating in the middle row, and he's just folding down the rear seats to give you an idea of how much space there is back there. You can probably fit a whole queen mattress in here. This is the middle row. As you can see, you have a lot of legroom for middle row passengers. I would say that the legroom is very comparable to that of a full-size sedan. And you have air conditioning vents up here. You have controls for the air conditioning here with a display to actually configure the temperature. This one has heated seats for rear passengers, two USB outlets, as well as 2 cup holders here. You have armrests as well for rear seat passengers, for middle row passengers. And you can essentially adjust how you want it. Sunshades back here. This one is actually equipped with Harman Kardon speakers. And in the back, it's actually a decent amount of space for third row passengers. You have 2 USB outlets here, 2 USB outlets here, 2 cup holders here, 2 more cup holders here, and air conditioning vents here. So you almost have as many amenities for third row passengers as you do for second row passengers. And these headrests on the third row actually pop downward to allow better visibility through the mirror for the driver. And the headrest actually pops out, like I mentioned, this high. What we're gonna do is we're actually gonna check out the trunk to get an idea of how much space we have exactly. So as you can see, this is the cup holder for middle row passengers, and as I mentioned, there are also 2 cup holders in this compartment here. So this is the lever to release the seats. First, let's have a look at the design. You can see we have LEDs that run throughout. This is the indicator. This is the Ascent Touring, so it might be the top of the line one. Symmetrical all-wheel drive. And as the trunk opens, we notice how much room there is in here. It's not exactly as deep as the amount of space you would get in a minivan. As you might be familiar, minivans, you get a lot of space. You get space that stretches all the way to the bottom of the vehicle. But this is more comparable to the Honda Pilot in terms of how much space you get. As you can see, this curves this way, so you don't get a lot of space. Let's try folding down the third row seats. And as you can see, I've folded down the third row of seats. It's actually a decent amount of space. You can probably put 4 or 5 suitcases, medium-sized suitcases back here, and still have room for other things like backpacks. Or if you want to take this camping, you can probably put all your tenting equipment and other cargo in here. You also have grocery bag hooks here, which is very useful for grocery trips. You don't have a 110 volt outlet back here. Let's say you want to tailgate and do a party back here. You don't exactly have a 110 volt outlet, but you do have a 12 volt outlet. But as I mentioned, you do have a 110 volt outlet down there, so you could probably run an extension all the way back here and power whatever you need to. This has been a look at the all-new Subaru Ascent at the North American International Auto Show in Detroit.